Well, it's finally here, guys, and I thought I'd definitely give you my first impressions and kind of like a little review on Chapter 1 of the new Fairy Tail series. Sadly, I don't have the actual volume in my hands, but, like, we'll be talking about Fairy Tail Gaiden, Kegami no Soryu, or as its English name shall be known as, Fairy Tail Gaiden, Lord Knight, which is a Gajeel-focused story. So one thing I was really expecting into this is like, oh, it's all going to focus on Gajeel, you know, it's going on. Remember I said it's going to be all about him? Actually, the first chapter technically doesn't even have him at all in the entire, like, volume, which it seems like I'm very curious to see what exactly have they got, like, in store for Gajeel, because from what it shows at present time, it's actually showing that, you know, this is going to show about Gajeel's past. Hopefully, like, maybe it might be some stuff from the Phantom Lord era stuff, like, maybe it might be that. But another thing to let people know before they can get into this chapter is that it's incredibly short. Like, holy hell, like, it's like 8 pages or so. Like, it was like 8, 9 pages, and I was like, that's quite a short note. You're not counting, like, the color pages and stuff like that. And then, yeah, it's just like 8 pages. So I was like, that's quite kind of short, actually, to be seen from, like, a spin-off. Because I remember the last one, the Sabretooth, was pretty lengthy. But, you know, it was a normal length side chapter. And from what we got from the start of the chapter, we found out Levi, you know, Team Shadowgear, they came back from, like, Magnolia, and they're like, oh, we just came back from, like, a thing, like, doing a guild mission, and we found out that basically, like, the Magic Council is actually searching out for Gajeel, that there's someone that actually helped with his, like, he apparently helped with, like, someone's escape, which, obviously, they would say, like, the connection is that, oh, basically, he was from, like, Phantom Lord, or he was, by back in the day when just Gajeel was just a rogue, do whatever the fuck he wants, so I'm kind of curious what this is actually going to be about. A lot of people are saying, like, the manga was going to focus, like, oh, maybe this is the time, you know, that he was in with Raventail and stuff like that, which, that would be kind of interesting. Like, you know, he was a spy for them, so that was kind of overlooked, really, in the original manga, so maybe that might be someone from Raventail, Phantom Lord, you know, Gajeel was kind of, like, he was double agent it all the time, like, everywhere, so I'm really curious to see exactly what he's got in mind for this one. It seems like very interesting. I will say, though, I'm guessing that maybe it might be short as, like, hopefully it's just like, oh, the first chapter I didn't have enough ready to think about, or maybe it's just like, hey, it's going to be kind of a very short story, so I'm going to do a few chapters, and it's like, this will be done in, like, one volume or something like that. That's the only thing I can really picture about it. It could be just me, like, thinking, like, a little bit too ahead of it, but honestly, it was like, we saw, like, you know, a bunch of the Fairy Tail girls and all that, and it's like, oh, hey, we saw Gray, we saw, you know, Levi, Juvia, Mira, and, like, they actually managed to get Mira, like, to join it, saying, like, oh, by the way, let's just have it as, like, Gajeel, because, like, you know, get away with that shit. It's like, oh, by the way, thank fucking God, like, that shit, because, you know, they're really looking after it. It's like, and turns out he's already been, like, missing for about, like, 3 days ago from what, like, Panther Lady discussed, so it must have already shown that, you know, by the way, it's like, yeah, he's already been up to some shit, and they're saying, looking in the newspaper and all that, it's like, oh, by the way, he must, like, people saying, he must have helped this guy break out of prison and stuff like that, and it's like, it's like a little bit questionable and all that. I doubt Gajeel would do that, you know, obviously Gajeel's one of the good guys. Maybe there's some, like, questions to it, maybe he's a long-lived friend, like, I honestly doubt it, because what we saw from the start of the chapter, he was like, ah, Gajeel and all that, you know, I want to get you and shit like that. It's like, just you wait, Gajeel, so maybe there's just, like, an old score that needs to be settled. I'm just curious exactly what they're going to do with it, like, honestly, I'm not probably going to be keeping up with this one. Maybe, like, when it finally comes out in, like, you know, a volume form, I'll pick it up and see what it is, or if people, like, really say, oh my god, you need to check it out. I will say one thing, like, not too much of this, I really do like the art. It really does remind me of the Fairy Girls art, which is particularly nice, actually, and all that. It's like, I've seen all the Fairy Tail spin-offs apart from, like, the Wendy one, and I definitely want to at least, like, review at least a chapter or two of, like, every single one of them for, like, you know, a little while and all that, but we'll just wait and see and all that, what exactly this one's got in store for. Honestly, for, like, a good concept and good, like, setup and all that, seeing, like, oh, we're going to find out a little bit more about, like, Gajeel, like, what happened with him, his past, so, you know, it sounds like a really good premise, so I'm honestly going to give this one a 7 out of 10 for the little information that we didn't know about it. Really got me interested in seeing what exactly is going to happen with Gajeel, but that's all from me, so thank you much for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.